everyone, Lady Sapphire here. So today we're getting into the power of no. Now I know this is something that has been talked about in the past. It's something that I kind of wanted to get into though because I just assume people wouldn't expect it from me because I do talk a lot about sexuality, but I believe there is a great power to the word no. And I think it works for both genders. Or all genders. This is not something that's just girl power or man power. It's for both. And there are reasons and ways to use no that will actually benefit you. So I hope you enjoy my video, and here we go. So no, it is one of those words that parents are told they're not allowed to use anymore, which is kind of terrifying, and I'll get into why. I'm actually going to sum this up into a few reasons where no is a powerful word. But no is a powerful word. It actually helps us determine what people really are. And this might sound a little weird, but I'm going to get very general and then I'll get into more specific situations. So in a general circumstance, say you're dating a person or someone has offered to go out with, offered to take you on a date. And you go, okay, sounds like fun. I like dinner. I'm willing to go Dutch. I'll pay half. That's fine. Let's go have some dinner. And then you get to dinner and they go, oh, no, it's all on me. I pay for everything. So we're going back to my place after? Say no. Just say no. I know this sounds like, well, he's being nice and just go back have a drink with them. No. The problem is we live in a society that has really underestimated the value of dating in general nowadays. And we kind of go with the whole, well, we went out twice, let's go get in bed together. No. Nor should you go to anyone's place, at least for the first couple of dates. Now, the reason I say this is actually more for safety on the places front, because you do not want to, on date one, bring guy back to your place, and now he knows where you live, and he knows the layout of your house, and he knows who lives there. He knows if you have kids. He knows where the windows and the doors are, and he could hurt you. And this goes for men too. You bring a girl home. You don't think girls can be just as crazy as boys? More so, probably. From my experience, more so. They now know where you live. They now know your space. So keep the first couple of dates away from homes. Just avoid them. Just avoid them. And it also protects you. Because say, for example, even if you are a perfectly normal person, you go on a date with somebody who's perfectly normal. They have a crazy ex who breaks into their house. You were the last girl there. Whose door do you think cops are going to be knocking on first? It probably will be yours. Just because you were in their home. You were around. You know the layout of their home. If someone broke in, you're a stranger to this person who now knows where they live. So it can go both ways. It's really for protection all around. You should just say no. Step one. On date one. And then when you get to know the person, that's fine. Get to know them. Get to know if they're, get to know if they're crazy. Get to know if they're normal, regular people with similar goals to you. And once you've gotten to that point, then if you want to bring it home, bring it home. But make sure you're always safe. Now, to the power of no now. There are multiple powers, but the biggest power is to decipher who is a creep. You don't want to bring a creep home. So, some guys might not be outright creeps. They might be the kind of creeps that go, oh no, honey, it's okay. We can wait till date 3. And then date 3 comes around, and whether you're comfortable or not, they're now going to try to coerce you into it. They're going to try to force you into something that you're maybe not comfortable with. So knowing that, know that it's not about date 3. It's not about date 1. There is no set date number that should dictate whether I want to take you into bed or not. This whole arbitrary 3 dates thing is bogus. How much, even if you're talking about just a legit, you're going on a date with someone you don't know, you go on 3 dates with this person that you don't know, how much have you learned in 3 dates? Like, have you talked about your sexual histories? Have you talked about your relationship histories? Have you talked about your job histories? And, like, All of these things that dictate if a person is going to be compatible in a relationship or not. Have you really had time to discuss these things? So don't go by quantity of time. Go by quality of time. Like, I mean, I'm not going to say that I haven't been quick with a person or two. It happens. It happens to people who are sexually liberated. It does happen that we end up in situations very quickly. But I can assure you, I still had the sexual conversations, the relationship conversations, the what kind of crazy are you before I bring you home? Because everyone's a little bit crazy. What kind of crazy are you, and can it blend with my crazy or not? Let's find that out before we bring this home. Like, the quality of the conversations were still there to protect myself, to know I'm not with a crazy person. They're likely undiseased, and I'm still going to be protected, but they're likely undiseased, so my chances are even lower of getting anything, even with protection, because protection is not 100%. You know, go with quality of time and get to know if this person's just a creeper waiting to get in your pants. So if, they take you out on a date or two and you say no, and they just get angry, walk away, babe. You ain't missing nothing. You ain't missing out on crap. If he gets angry that you're saying no, this guy is a creep, or this girl is a creep. It's not just she's can be just as, again, girls can be just as crazy, sometimes more. Um, so if you know they're crazy and you're going, no, I want to get to know you. I want to make sure I'm safe interacting with your, animal parts, then that's my right to do so. And no one is entitled to sex. No one is entitled to anything. They can pay for dinner all they want. That doesn't mean you have to do anything. And just because she takes you out somewhere doesn't mean you have to do anything if you're as a man, or as another woman. It really doesn't matter. You have the right to say no. And if they don't like that, too damn bad. Hate to break it to you, but no. The other thing, and I'm going to throw this in as a fun thing, for you parents out there, I understand. You can't just say no, 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 all the time. You need to have structure. Do not do this, do not do that kind of sentences. But your children need to hear no. We live in a society where rape is actually becoming more prevalent, not so much in the violent capacity, but in the social circle capacities. People are playing more and more with coercion consent and forced consent than they are with enthusiastic or happy consent. And that is because they are not learning what the word no means. So girls, teach those boys no. Teach those girls no. Because it will protect them and others from them in the future. Now, I know this might sound harsh, but I look at, like, I'm the oldest of 5 kids. I look at all children as adults to be. So when they're not learning things like the basic what no means, they're not going to receive it well as an adult. So think about your little boy who's sitting there going, I don't like no. So you sit there removing no from the dictionary, and then they have a girlfriend later or a boyfriend later that says no, and now they're a rape victim, or now they're an assault victim. Like, it really does happen that way. And I know, again, it's hard to look at your little kids and go, that's what it's going to be. But if you don't teach them the importance and the power of the word no, that no means everything stops. Everything. Doesn't matter what you like. Doesn't matter what you want. No, everything stops. That is the way it should be. And it should be that way from the point they are little to the point they are adults, so that by the time they're adults, hearing no isn't a big deal. It's not like oh, she doesn't love me. It's literally just, no, she's not interested, or he's not interested. Moving on to the next person, which is the healthy way to go about it. So I really wanted to stress that, because as much as sexuality is about more adults, it's something that starts when we're very young. And what happens when we're young affects how we deal with the world as adults. So I really wanted to bring that up for parents out there. please do not be afraid to tell your kids no. Do not be afraid that you're going to hurt their little egos, because it's better for them to learn what it feels like when they're 4, when they're 3, when they're 2, than when they're 15, 16, 17, and now in jail because girlfriend said no and they didn't know how to respond to it. So they got violent, or they got angry, or they got mean and nasty and sent pictures out or did whatever, because they're maliciously acting out because they don't know how to respond to the word no. So please make sure you're teaching that. And for us adults, and I know that even in my generation, and I'm not exactly young, but I'm not old either, but with my generation was the start of this you can't tell your kids no thing. So even people my age and a little younger than me, if you have a hard time with that word, please get used to it. Please understand that it's not about you. It's not about anything disrespecting you. If someone says no to you, it's because they have the right to, and they might have a valid reason that you don't know yet. Like, I mean, you might be dealing with someone who's asexual and doesn't like sex or doesn't have an urge for sex. So when they're telling you no, it's because of them, not you. So don't take it as a personal affront if someone tells you no. Don't take it as a, oh, my heart, you don't love me, or you don't like me, or you don't care about me. And if you're using those lines on people to be manipulative, you're just a jerk. Just so you know. I don't care, male, female, whatever in between. If you are using the, well, if you won't have sex with me, you don't love me thing, you are a jerk. End of story. You need to stop that. Just cut it out, because you have no idea what their story is. You don't know why they're telling you no. Like, I've known quite a few victims of different kinds of sexual abuse and different types of sexual things that when someone approached them about it, it was instant, no, just get away from me, don't touch me. And I understood that. I was completely understanding that for them, it was a terrifying process to get back into sex and to get back into their own sexuality without feeling dirty or without feeling just distasteful with themselves. Like, I don't want to get too into detail because they're not my stories to tell, and I'm sure you can go out there and find many stories of these kind of situations. But I know that usually when someone is saying no, it's about them, not you. So don't take it as like, well, they just don't love me. They just don't like me. No. You have no idea what a person's story is until you get to know that person. So do not take it as a personal slight or a personal judgment or something that you need to get revenge for because someone's told you no. Just move on with your life. Because the fact is where there's a no, somebody will say yes to you. Like, the law of attractions is there's someone out there for you. So don't be all angry that this person wasn't the person, and move on to who is. That's okay. There's no shame in admitting this person wasn't the right one and moving on with life. That's fine. And if you're a horn dog who just wants to get laid and someone's telling you no, they're probably looking for a more long-term relationship. So who are you to get mad at them that they don't want to be one of your sluts? Just move on. Or if you really care about this person, show them you care about them. Don't just be like, well, you won't have sex with me, so it's over. If you really want to be with that person, you will be with that person, whether they're having sex or not with you. So don't use that as some kind of judgment or some kind of rate of relationship, because it doesn't work that way. There are many contented relationships that aren't having sex. There are many that date for years before they have sex because they're waiting for marriage or they're waiting for whatever. And that's fine. I personally don't really see a harm in waiting for marriage if you are going about it in an educated way. So what I mean by that is, if you understand that you are compatible in every other way of life, if you understand that you are compatible in a physical way, because you can have a physical relationship without having sex. I mean, if for me personally, if I was with someone who didn't want to have sex with me, that'd be fine. But I would at least need to know that we cuddle well, that we can kiss, that we can snuggle right, that we fit right, that there's all these other little things that matter to me that have nothing to do with sex that would have to do with my long-term comfort with a person. So I would at least need that. And I understand if you are highly religious, which if you've watched my previous video, I do have issues with some of the sexual orientations with religious people. But I will say that if you are religious and you are waiting for marriage, then you have to at least get to know that person. And the other big issue with the getting to know that person is it's hard to do when you have 3 adults sitting around you at all times, so you can't talk. You can't really connect. You can't cuddle. You can't see how well you kiss together. You can't, like, these are all things that we need. Like, you might have a period of time where you don't have sex with your partner, but you're still going to want to cuddle with them at night. You're still going to want to kiss them at night. You're still going to want to, like, give them a hug and know that you don't feel like, ow, this is just all wrong in all sorts of ways when we hug each other. Because it does happen. Like, people are all shaped and formed differently, so sometimes you hug someone and it's like, ow, your bone's poking me, dude. You know? Like, I'd want to know those things before I jumped into a long-term relationship with someone, like marriage. But I do understand that you might want to wait for sex. So there are lots of comfortable relationships that go on years without having actual intercourse. It doesn't mean they're not having a physical relationship, but they're not having the intercourse, which is fine. It's not as needed as people tend to think. We've gotten past the idea that women can only feel pleasure when penetrated. We've gone long past that. Go look in any sex shop and see how many vibrators there are. You will know how long past we are that. But that's beside the point. There are many ways to please each other and to be happy with each other that have nothing to do with sex or oral sex or any of those kinds of things. There are ways to find happiness through physical connection. I don't want to dismiss that. And this is where no comes in. Like, I could not go on a date with someone and just take them home with me that night. Like, I couldn't do it. And I don't judge anyone if they do that. I will say be careful because you're putting yourself at risk, as I previously spoke before in my video. But other than the risks you're taking, I don't judge you. I just hope that you're well, and I hope that you're safe, and I hope that nothing ever bad happens to you. But can't say you weren't warned if you watch one of my videos. But you need to be cautious of these things. But otherwise, if you don't feel comfortable or you want to just leave the situation, say no. Just no. And people need to respect that no, because no one is entitled to anything. I also want to add at the end of this, just because I kind of mentioned a little bit of the safety of dating, quick dating advice. I know that everyone kind of goes with the, oh, well, you know, just if you're not happy with the date, you just pretend there's someone calling you or something and get away, which is fine. But also be aware of the exits in the back. And this might sound a little weird, but if you're in a situation where the person is literally not letting you leave, or you feel uncomfortable trying to get away, then plead you're going to the bathroom and then run for that kitchen. And I am sure someone in that kitchen will help you. I am 95% positive. Like, you might run into some asshole who's like, no, get out of my kitchen. But if you say, I am having a date that could lead to a dangerous situation, I need to get out of this restaurant, can you just point me to the back door? Then run. Also, always make sure you have money for a cab or a bus ride home. So if, for example, this person picks you up and brings you to said date and you're going, I need to get out of here, like, how the hell? Have that backup. Do not go anywhere without the backup of bus fare, cab money, something to get you out of there quickly. And again, if it's a bus you're waiting for and you know that there's a bit of time, again, the kitchen or some kind of staff area will help you. They will cluster you somewhere and get you safe away from the person if that's what it comes down to. So please keep that in mind. When you're in a bad date, do not think you're stuck there and you have to go through the awkward ride home. There are precautions you can take to avoid that issue entirely. So with that, I'm going to say I hope you guys all have a great night. As always, play safe and send your love to all, because I send my love to all of you. And thank you for watching. And as always, I hope you learned something. If not, hope you enjoyed it anyway. Good night, guys. Bye.